I'm Marsha, also known as Fairy Little, and this is my podcast all about knitting, and there's a little bit of stitching today and some sewing later on in the podcast. Welcome back, everybody. It has been a long time. The last time I spoke to you was in December, so Christmas has happened, New Year's has happened, and my 3-year podiversary happened in January. So welcome back and all of the celebration for everything that's happened. And I missed you as much as you missed me, I feel like. It has been so long and I'm feeling a little bit rusty, but I'm excited to be here. And I do feel like it has been too long, but honestly, there has been a lot going on. And one of the things that was going on that prevented me from podcasting was I couldn't actually knit. Right before Christmas, I knit about, from the time I podcast, like right around that time to, I think it was probably early December, I finished all of the things that I was going to be working on, minus a few things. I knit about 6,000 yards before Christmas, and that about did in my wrists. I had to take a break, and I couldn't knit at all for all of December and most of January. And I've just gotten back into knitting in the last 2 weeks. And it has been amazing to be back to knitting, but I've been taking it really, really easy getting back in. And my wrists are feeling great now. And that was the break that I needed for sure. And after Christmas, I got the flu really bad. Last week I was planning on podcasting and I got, it's an issue with my TMJ, so it's the joint here from clenching so hard. We're still going through our house claim, and so there's a lot of stuff going on, so I've been really grinding at my teeth at night, and I have a garden, all of that stuff, but I've had to do some extra therapies to be able to even talk. So that's still on the go. I still have pain in my mouth, but at least I can talk now without having a hot pad on my face and all of that stuff. So I'm feeling much better. Thank you to everybody who has sent me messages with their concern and letting me know that they're missing the podcast. I've been missing it too. So today I have what I've been working on, some finished objects, and some planning for the future, and some jibber jabber. And also, I feel like it's time to do a knit along again. I haven't done any planning around that, so we'll see how the podcast goes and we'll see where I get to. Also, I have some designing things coming up. So, that being said, what have I been working on? Well, I've finished a few things. I finished a bunch of things over Christmas. What I've been working on recently is in May, I'm going to be co-teaching a class on brioche. So I have been working on the project that we are going to be working on in the class, and it is called the Brioche Basics Scarf, and it's by Suzanne Summer, and it is a free pattern on Ravelry, so you can go and get it and do it. It's a great beginner pattern. It doesn't have on the actual pattern a full picture of what it looks like. I'm just looking through here. But it does do decreases and increases, and it has a really great photo tutorial in the back of the pattern. There's a little snippet of it. And I got a hold of the designer and I asked her if this is something that I could use for my class. And she said, absolutely. So I really appreciate that. But I've been working on it, and I started it last week. It's Brioche Stitch, and this is what it looks like. This is where the beginner pattern is. So it gets you casting on, increasing and decreasing, and then that's on the back side. And then you just knit brioche for a good chunk. And then you go back to this pattern on the other side, but it's in reverse and it's all written out. So the yarn I am using is Malabrigo Rios in the lettuce and natural colorway. So lettuce is 037 and natural is 063. And it's the Brioche. And it's not quite enough yarn to do the entire pattern. So I did have to get 4 skeins versus 2. You could always shorten it. If this is the yarn that you choose, you can always shorten it to match how much yarn you have, but I was just short a little bit, so I got some extra. And actually the lettuce isn't a matching color to the, like, it's a different dye lot to the other lettuce color, but they are very, very, very close, and I can't, eyeballing it, I can't see the difference. So I'm just doing that. And even where I added the new skein, and you can hardly, I don't even think you can tell where the line is, because it's up here. That row is where the line is of the new skein. So yeah, it's very squishy, it's very soft, it's such a nice knit to work on. Got my yarn, and yeah, it's going to be a really nice squishy scarf when it's done. And this is the project we'll be working on. So it's a lot of fun. If you have never done brioche, the pattern is so well written, and it also has, it's got the photos like I mentioned. It has links as well to each of the stitches to help you out, and you can just click on the links and it'll open up in YouTube. And yeah, it's very well written, and I'm enjoying it. There hasn't been a spot that I've been caught up on or anything, or that I found difficult. So yeah, so this is coming along, and by the time I podcast next, it should be done. It's all the yarn. Such a nice knit. And I'm actually housing this in my You Sew and Sew bag. And it's got bees on the like hives and bees on the outside and bees on the inside. It is so cute. I love this bag, and we keep bees, so I just love bees. They're so wonderful. So that's what I've been working on. Also, I have been working on what I'm wearing. But this is actually finished object. So I've been very monogamous with that right now. It's the only thing I'm actually working on. So I'm going to start showing you what I finished. And I'll start with what I'm wearing. So what I'm wearing is, it started off as a cowl. I started it last summer, and it started down here, and it was a nice cowl, and I thought, you know what, this would make a really nice sweater. So I kept going, and then I split for the sleeves, and it just kind of grew into its own thing. So it's Brioche Stitch, and it was my first time knitting brioche in the round. And I actually, when I was knitting it, this summer, I ended up learning how to fix mistakes big time, because I had to rip it back. I ripped it back from here all the way down to here, but just in a section, and then knit it back up. And then I didn't like how that looked, so I actually ripped the whole thing back down to here, and then I started reknitting it again. So this section has been reknit twice. And then I split for the sleeves, and then I just added little cap sleeves to it, and then just kept knitting. And I wanted a different kind of collar, so this collar is just like a fold over collar, and I picked up stitches in here, and it is so comfortable and so squishy. I love it, and it's not too hot. Like, I don't feel, because it has the short sleeves, my arms can breathe, so I'm not feeling hot at all in it. And it is knit out of Riverstone yarns. All 3 of these yarns are Riverstone yarns, and she actually dyes her yarns so that they can partner with other yarns. So these 3 colors all partner together, and there's actually another color that she has that will partner with this middle color as well. And it's the deep purple blue. She has that color as well. So I wanted to use her yarn and match it between the colors that work. And so the yellow pulls out of here, and this purple also pulls out of here, and it's alternating into the next color. So it goes from the yellow into the yellow and the variegated, and then it goes into the variegated, and then it goes from the variegated into the variegated and purple. And then from there it goes into straight purple for the collar. And this collar is just, I just really love this collar. I could have made it even probably a little bit bigger, but I really like how it looks and how it centers where it hits. I really like that. And I really love this little swoop here. That makes my heart really, really happy. I know some people might not like that, but I definitely do, and it does it on this side as well, going the opposite way. So I really love this. I have not written up this pattern. I took notes as I made it, and I also the decreases for the sleeves are a little bit different than what you would normally see. So I just was playing, and it was a lot of fun. But I don't know if there'd be actually any interest in this pattern being written up and put out there for sale. I don't know. I was just playing, and if there's enough interest, I will write it up and send it to my tech editor. But if people are just like, oh, it's just another brioche top, then I won't worry about that, and I'll just have it and wear it and love it. So if you would be interested in this pattern being written up as an actual pattern, then please comment below. That's probably the best place to get me, or on Instagram. Those are the two places where I get my messages mostly. I also have an email address, and it is fairylittle@hotmail.ca, and that's another way that you can get a hold of me. I don't really go on Ravelry that often. Usually it's just to check a pattern or to find something, or to follow up, but my messages tend to get backlogged there, and then it becomes overwhelming. So if you want to get a hold of me and get a response really quickly, because I tend to actually forget that Ravelry is there because I don't use it that often. Like I said, it's a resource for me more than anything. And also I have a Ravelry group there, which I run when I'm doing knit-alongs and that sort of thing. Then I check in a lot more, but when I don't have anything going on like that, then I'm just not in there. So if you have any questions or you need anything from me, please email me or get a hold of me on Instagram. Either one of those would be great. And I also get an automatic message to my email if you comment below. So that actually comes to me directly as well. Hey, what else have I been working on? So I finished another wrap. I don't know if I showed this one last time. So this is the Peacock Shawl, and I've knit it in blue, and now I've done it in a red and purple and gray. And this yarn, I do believe I talked about it on the last podcast actually, but it is with my tech editor, and I have one person knitting through it right now. But once it's completely tech edited, then I will actually get a group of test knitters to go through it and knit it up. So it's not ready yet over the holidays and over January. I just it was on the back burner because so many other things were going on. So, but it is getting ready to be released, and again, this actually, it does need to be blocked. It hasn't been blocked yet. So so yeah, so that will be coming as well. Over my knitting hiatus, I still had the urge to craft. So I was working on this. It's Creative Accents cross stitch, and it's roses. And I got a good chunk done on it. I definitely don't stitch fast. It is like a stitch by stitch. I look at the stitch, and then I look back, and then I count, and I try. If anybody is a stitcher, it would probably drive you crazy how I do this. But it was nice relief from not being able to knit. And it's just a kit. I think I got it at Walmart probably 6 years ago or 7 years ago, and I'd started it, but I only had probably 50 stitches in it, and it took me 2 days to get there. So it kind of went away, and I didn't work on it. I've also been sewing. So actually, I've also been laying out patterns and cutting them out. I haven't been sewing yet. I'm lining a whole bunch of stuff up to sew. So I have this pattern, and it is a simplicity pattern, and I'm making this jumpsuit right here. And I'm doing it in a fabric that is it's a very stretchy fabric. I don't know what fabrics are called. I know what cotton is, but I don't know what this is. It's very stretchy, and it's polka dot. It's blue with white polka dots. And this is all ready to go. I have my lining all cut out as well, and it's ready to start doing the basting stitches and get it ready. So very excited about that. I also am going to be sewing up this pattern, and it's a new look pattern 6447. And I am going to be doing this one here without the cap sleeves. I tend to be a bit of a sweaty person, so if I can avoid the sleeves, then I will try. And this is done in a cotton, and the fabric is bees and beehives. And it makes me really, really, really happy. So that's all cut out and ready to be sewn together as well. I've also ordered a few more patterns, and this is Vogue Easy Options V8998. So I'm going to be sewing that one up. And I got this skirt pattern, Simplicity 4188. And I think that's going to be really nice. And this new look pattern 6020. And it's just this cute little dress. So I have some dress options. I'm trying to wear more dresses than pants. I find them a lot more comfortable. So that is what I'm going to be working on, probably get sewn together and cut out some more patterns. I was contacted by Wool and the Gang, and they asked me if I would be interested in knitting up some of their kind of magic socks. So they sent me this beautiful package, and it's a kit, and it includes the yarn, the pattern, and knitting needles, and it comes with 3 sets of knitting needles, one set of 2.25s, 2.5s, and 2.75s double pointed knitting needles, a ball of the yarn, and the pattern, and a sewing needle, so you can weave in the ends. So that is what that looks like. But they sent me 2, and I don't know, I tried to contact them. I don't know if they meant to send me 2 or if they were sending me 2 because one got lost in the mail. I'm not sure. I emailed them and I didn't receive a message back, so I'm just assuming they sent me an extra one to do as a giveaway, and so I'll be giving that away in a draw. That's why I was thinking that we would do a knit along. So I'll show you all of the things that are included in this amazing package. Comes with this little envelope that says Wool and the Gang, and this includes the pattern and the needle are in here, and the yarn, Wool and the Gang, and the yarn looks like this, and it has where you start. So this is the start off yarn, and it's measured out so you know where to end the sock as well. And it's self-patterning, so it will actually have that pattern on it. And so we have that. And here is the 2.5 knitting needles. And this is 2.5, 2.5, and 2.75. So I think one of these is actually 2.25. So it comes with the knitting needles, and I will be using the 2.5s because I'm going to use the whole kit to get the feel of the whole thing. I'm just going to open them so you can see them. So they're wooden needles, and these are 2.5s. And they're very smooth. They have some sort of coating on them that make them smooth, so they don't feel, to me, sticky, which is nice. And when I knit with wood, I tend to knit tighter, so this will probably be perfect. So I'm going to cast that on, and I'm going to be using the needles that they supply so that I can give a full review of what that is like. And I am going to give a kit away as well in a draw. So that's Wool and the Gang. You can find them on www.woolandthegang.com. So go over there and check it out. They don't have just one pattern. They've got tons of patterns. So this is going to be great. I'm actually going to cast this on pretty quickly so that in the next episode I can show you how it's knitting up or how it knit up. Some things I finished. I finished a pair of socks. I finished 4 pairs of socks out of 2 skeins of yarn that I spoke about in the last podcast before Christmas, and they've all been given away as gifts, so I don't have them any longer. I do believe I posted on Instagram a picture of them, so if I can find it, I will pop it in here. I also finished my Doctor Who scarf that I was knitting for my husband, and it turned out amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So that yarn from the Doctor Who scarf was from the yarn therapist, and she also sent me a link for the Doctor Who scarf, how it works up and how to work it out. And I will show you a picture of that as my husband's wearing it today, so I'll have to put in a picture of it. But what I did is where the color changes are, I ended up doing a purl row so that the transition between the colors is very smooth. And I got the kit that has the extra yarn for the fringe, so I made a fringe on it as well. And can you all see that? So that's what it looked like when it was done, but it's very long and beautiful and very soft. I got the cashmere blend yarn for it, so I'm very, very happy with that. It turned out amazing. Some of you may remember that I had a couple projects that my mom had started and cross stitch, and the lovely Anna said that she would finish them for me. So she sent me this beautiful package back. I sent her the projects and she finished them. I just have to clean them and then frame them. And so she finished the back stitching and whatever needed to be finished on this one. And it was a bit of a difficult thing getting a hold of the pattern for this. It turns out it was in a magazine, so I had to find it online, and then the people that I'd purchased it from sent me the wrong one, so I had to send it back, and then they sent me the right one, and then I could send it on. And it took a little bit of back and forth to get it worked out, but it's all worked out, and it's gorgeous. Anna did an amazing job on both of these, and this one just needed some back stitching, I believe. And so they just need to be cleaned and framed, and I'm really excited about this because these were the last couple pieces of my mom's work that were not finished, and there was actually quite a few mistakes in this one, so I'm assuming that she didn't finish it because she got frustrated with how many mistakes were in there, because I just asked Anna to work around whatever mistakes that she had made and just finish it as best she could. And so I'm assuming that's why my mom put it away, that she had no intention to actually finish it. But now they're both done, and I'm going to be framing them both up and putting them on the wall because it's so amazing that they are finished, and I'm so happy with the work that she did, and I'm so happy that it's a little piece of something that my mom started that is finally finished, and I'm very happy about that. So that's done. She also sent me some lovely, lovely treats. A lot of tea and some yarn and a beautiful little note. And this cool little guy that she made, I love him. And he's going to go into my Christmas decorations to go on the tree. But I love him so much, I want to make these guys for my tree, and maybe next year I'll get the girls to make some of these too, because it's hilarious and I love it and it makes me so happy. It's just so whimsical, and yeah, he's so cute. I love it. And she sent me some happy yarn, which I'm so happy about, because she knew that I was on a knitting hiatus, and I actually stopped looking at Instagram and Ravelry and Facebook and anything doing with knitting because it made me so sad that I couldn't knit. And she sent me some super, super happy yarn that is so brightly colored, and it's not coming up as bright as it is on the screen that is in real life, but it is so happy, and this was an amazing gift to receive from you, Anna, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. It makes me so happy. And it's a single ply yarn, so I'm not sure what I'm going to knit with it yet. Maybe I'll do a hat or some fingerless gloves, or maybe a happy little shawlette or something. It's so pretty though. I'm so excited about this. And she sent me a bunch of different teas and some different German treats, which is really exciting. They're gone, so I can't share them with you. But yeah, so that is all for that part. Over Christmas, Scylla came home, which was really, really exciting. It was so great to see her. And she always spoils me at Christmas with all of the yarn goodiness. And she did a advent calendar for me out of yarn, and they were boxed up in these, and then each one of these was wrapped up separately for the amount of time she was here. So when she got here, it was from that day till Christmas Eve. And these are Ancient Arts yarns, and they're all just these little, I think they're 20 grams. Yeah, 20 gram skeins. And they are fantastic. I love Ancient Arts yarns. And so these are amazing. And I think what I'm going to do with these is knit Christmas tree ornaments for next year. I say that, but it might be a couple years away. But I think that's what I'm going to do with these little 20 gram skeins, is do some Christmas ornaments. They're so beautiful. I'm just showing you each of them. And you could go over to their website, which is ancientartfiber.com, and you can go and take a look at their yarn, because it's just so beautiful. All of these different colors, they're just stunning. And she also gave me, she always says, she's like, I don't want to just give you single skeins. She's like, but there's so many beautiful single skeins out there. So she got me some Zen Garden, and this one is it's Into the Woods, and it's called Mystic Ocean Appletini. Mystic Ocean Appletini. And it's the Into the Woods base. And it's so, so soft. So it's 90% merino, 10% cashmere. And it's so plump and lovely. And she got me some Biscotti Yarns. And this is, it's self-striping. And I'm not sure what the colorway is on this. Les Ailes de Papillon. Yeah, I don't know if that's the actual name, but de un papillon. And it's a self-striping. And this yarn, I've knit out of this yarn before. I have some purple, there we go. I have some purple and gray striped socks out of this yarn with black as well, and I love them, and they were so nice to knit with. This yarn is just so, so soft. It's such a happy place. So I actually told Scylla I would knit her some socks out of this, so she's going to actually be getting that back. She also gave me some Hedgehog Fiber skinny singles. I don't own any Hedgehog Fibers. I have done giveaways with Hedgehog Fibers, but I've never had some to keep. And this yarn is called Bubble, and it's their singles, skinny singles, and it's just so happy and fun. And I'm really looking forward to knitting with this. I think that this would be a really cool color to go in some brioche. And this is another one of the Ancient Arts yarns. And this is, oh, this one's called Impressionist. It's that one. I have a few to get through. And this is another Zen Yarn Garden super fine fingering. And this is merino and nylon, and it is Beetlejuice in the Mystic Ocean Red Maple. So beautiful. And there's another Skinny Singles Hedgehog Fibers, and this one is Oracle is what this one's called. And it's got the fluorescent in it, the pops of color, and gray and yellow and pink. And it's so, so pretty. I love it. I love them all. I love them all. And this one is called Merlot, and it's sock minis. And it is hedgehog fibers as well. So this would be really cool for toes and heels, I think. And those other minis, actually, they would be cool for toes and heels too. That's what I should think about doing, is heels, cuffs, and toes out of those cool colors. And this is the last Zen Yarn Garden Matrix Romy's Garden Ametrine. And, I see. So I've been reading these wrong. So it's Matrix is this color, and it coordinates with Romy's Garden Ametrine. So here, I'll show you. If I could read a label properly, that would be the best. So this one's Matrix, and that's the one it goes with. So the other ones, also, the first name I said is what the actual color is, and then the second name I said is what it will match with, which is cool. That's really cool. I should have taken some time and looked at that before, but well, now you know. When you know better, you do better. So now I know better, now I'll do better. So that's all of the gift yarn that I have. There's a couple things that I worked on that I was telling you about on the last podcast. Over Christmas, I didn't get any sweaters done. None of them. Which I was sad about, but also I just really needed to take a break. I reworked the colorwork patterns for the sweaters I will be knitting. And so because I've reworked those patterns, I will be able to go on, and I've just played with it a little bit. The first one that I was knitting, I'm going to finish that one as it is. I'm almost ready to split for the sleeves. The finished projects, like the finished pattern, is not going to look like that when it's done. I've reworked a lot of it. So I have some yarn set aside to do some of those colorwork patterns. I also have some new ideas for a couple other projects. And I came into my yarn room, my office, and I was reorganizing, and I found a bunch of projects that I had started designing and then I had put down. So hopefully I will get some of those finished and complete and finished. And some projects that I had started. I have a bin over here of projects that I have started that need to be finished or they need to be ripped out. So I'm going to be going through them and deciding which ones I'm going to keep, which ones I'm going to rip out. And this is one that I'm going to keep that I need to just work on. And this was the original Schmancy shawl pattern, but I have since changed the pattern and taken out this patterning panels in the middle. Those are not part of the actual pattern, but I want to get the edge completed on this, and then this one will be done. This is not one that I will be ripping out. I love the feeling of this one so much. And this is this yarn here is by Undead Yarns, and it's in the Dino colorway. I don't know if she has this base anymore, and it is a 70% alpaca, 20% silk, 10% cashmere, and it's fingering weight. So everything about this is super soft and luxurious. And then I have an alpaca blend that it's a folio, Barocco folio, alpaca, and rayon. edging, which isn't as soft as this yarn, but it gives the same sort of halo, if that makes sense. So it doesn't look very like a different base, but you can definitely feel that it is a different base, and that this one, the Dino, is just so much softer than this, but the Dino is the one that will be around my neck. So yeah, so that's still coming along. Every time I see it, I just want to pick it up, but then I've got so many other things on the needles. So that's that. And I also have a circular shawl that I started last year in lace weight yarn that I'm designing that I need to finish. I have some hat patterns in the background. I have 2 sweater patterns and this one possibly that are coming. So I have been working. It's just been more like paperwork working. Knit along. If you have any ideas for a knit along, please let me know. I have some great prizes that have been donated that I would love to give away. I have, I think that if we do a knit along, it should have something to do with color and brioche, just because that's where I'm at right now, and I'm really loving brioche. And I think I don't think it will be project specific as far as that goes. Kind of want it to be project specific, but it doesn't have to be. I want to encourage as many people to partake as possible. So like, if you're new to brioche or have been doing it for a long time, I want it to be something that challenges you specifically. So it doesn't have to be anything specific. That's what I'm thinking. Please put your comments below, email me, or send me a message on Instagram. It was so great catching up with you again today. I still feel a little bit all over the place. I think that's it. Oh, some jibber jabber. Let's do some jibber jabber. My house is still a disaster zone from the flood that we had, and that has been very, very stressful. We had a construction crew come in and fix a whole bunch of structural stuff that needed to be done, and now I have an electrician in who's moving some wires and upgrading some stuff so that is safer and looks nicer. And then I have the actual crew coming in to do the insurance part of the claim, and then the flooring people, that's part of the insurance claim as well. I've ordered the flooring and all of that. So that is coming in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, probably, maybe another month. It should be done. The claim was in October. They finally started dealing with it this month, January, or last month, January. So yeah, so that's coming. It's coming along. Hopefully it'll be done soon and my life won't be such a mess. My room I had to move a whole bunch of stuff around. There's a whole bunch of, it's so disorganized right now, and it's driving me a little bit batty. And I just really want it to be dealt with. I had the flu, and so I was really drained for about 2 weeks. That was in the beginning of January, and I got better from that. But in the meantime, I started developing this jaw issue, and that really, over the last couple of weeks, has taken it out of me. I've been hooked up to a machine to relax that, and I went to a massage therapist who massaged me inside of my jaw, which felt super weird, but it felt amazing after. So that's getting looked after, and it should be, I should be fully fine. I think that stuff, all of that tension, is related to the insurance claim and seeing my house ripped to shreds. But that, it will be fine. It will be really good. There's a podcast from the States. I believe they're from Seattle. can't remember what they're called right now, but I'll try to remember to put it below. And one of the podcasters, her name is Marsha as well, and it's an audio podcast, and I was listening to it, and every time they said her name, it just like, I don't know if anybody else gets this, but it gives me a weird feeling when I hear my name on somebody else. And so my friend Carla from the Relentless Knitting audio podcast messaged me and said that this podcast was talking about my I Knit a Sweater in 24 Hours video. And the thing with that video is it has had so many views, and if I had any idea that it would have that many views, I would have done such a better job on it. It was just, that's what I was doing that day, and I just wanted to challenge myself. So like, it's not polished at all. There's no, like, I could have edited it so that what I'm saying is down below, and I could have done so much with it, but I wanted to just do it and then put it up and share it with you guys. And it has had over 140,000 views. And the lesson that I'm taking away from that is whatever I put out there, I need to take the time to do a proper job of it, because I cannot believe how well that video is doing, but also how poorly videoed it is, and how poorly put together it is, and that it's getting so much traffic. So so if you watch that video, I apologize for the quality. That I really didn't expect it to get that much attention and to go as big as it has, and and be what it is. I've actually considered redoing it and knitting another sweater in 24 hours and just doing it straight through. But at this point, with my wrists where they are, I don't want to push that. I do need to take it easy, and that's what I keep telling myself, is that I just need to take it easy and let my wrists heal. I actually think that what's going on in here is not as, I think the knitting makes it worse, but I think it's actually related to typing, because I type a lot at work, and since I started back at work, that has inflamed it a lot more. So I think it really has more to do with typing than it does the knitting, but the knitting just exacerbates the whole situation. I'm going to the Okanagan Knitting Retreat in May. That's coming up, and I'm going to be teaching there, teaching some brioche, which will be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. The lady that I'm co-teaching with, her name is Rebecca, and she and I have been on the same page through this whole thing, which is amazing. If anybody has ever co-taught with somebody or done a project with somebody else, it's amazing when you can both be on the same page and just discuss everything and your feelings, and you're both like, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, perfect. That's great. It fits. Okay, let's do this. And we're both just doing our pieces and then putting them together, and we're both filling in different gaps, I guess. But it's just so fluid and working so well together. And I'm so glad that is how it's going, because it is going so well. I believe there's still space available at the Okanagan Knitting Retreat. How about I just talk about that for a little bit here? Because if you're interested in going to a retreat where you can learn new skills, it is really good. And it covers accommodation, it covers food, so you don't have to worry about those things. You just have to get there. And then there's food, accommodation, lots of knitting, lots of jibber-jabbering, and it's a lot of fun. And you can go away learning new skills. Some of the biggest skills that I have learned, I learned there. I learned how to knit lace there. I learned how to purl continental style, because I was doing twisted purl stitches. I've learned so much there, and I always take away one thing. Even though I've knit a lot now, I'll pick a class and I might know all of the skills that they're teaching in the class, but there's always that one aha moment for me. And that one aha is worth the whole thing for me because it's something new, it's something I didn't know before, and I could take that and turn it into something else, which I really appreciate. And anytime I can pull something away, it's always something, and it's not even necessarily from the teacher of the class. It could be from one of the students that is struggling, and then like figuring out a way around what it is they're struggling with. That could be my aha moment, but it's totally, completely worth it. It's called the Okanagan Knitting Retreat. It starts on Friday to Sunday, and it's the weekend after the long weekend in May, and it is there's a bunch of different options for where you can stay. You can stay in a cabin, you can stay in like a room with a kitchenette, and you can stay in dorm kind of rooms, and you can be by yourself, or you can have a roommate, which decreases the cost. It's not it's not a really expensive retreat. It's actually very reasonable, and considering that accommodation and food are both taken care of, it's very reasonable. And it's a lot of fun. There's a couple people that vend there. I think there's usually three vendors there, and essentially 3 or 4 actually. And essentially they're there to supply something if you didn't bring it. So there's yarns, there's needles, there's stitch markers, there's pattern books, there's like a myriad of things that you can choose from. And there's vendors there that are not necessarily, they are on the internet, but they're not as, you can access all of their stock this way, essentially. And it's more one-on-one time, which I appreciate. It's very well put together. This is the 20-year anniversary this year, so there's going to be some breakout classes that will be taught as well, and just like 20-minute, half an hour classes of different things that you can, if you're interested in it, you can go and learn those things, as well as the big main class, which would be all day Saturday. And then on Sunday there's a show and tell, and I will be going on the Thursday and leaving on Sunday. There's enough time if you can come early, definitely. And there's actually like a yoga knitting retreat before that kind of folds into. So if you're interested in being there longer and doing yoga and just relaxing, then that part happens first, and then it goes into the actual knitting retreat. And then a lot of people arrive on Thursday or Friday. But what we've done in the past is come on Thursday, and then on Friday we go to, there's a couple different yarn stores around there, or yeah, a couple different yarn stores. There's it's called West Coast Color, and they actually have their location is right by the, oh, I'm gonna flip this around. You can order their yarn online. It's www.westcoastcolor.net. But you can go in and you can look at all of the different colors. You can touch the yarn. You can see what they have that's on sale, and their colors are just amazing. So that's one thing that I like to do while I'm there, and spend lots of time knitting and having fun and chatting with everybody. There's still space, so if you want to come and check it out, then that would be awesome. And I'm not sure, I think there's still room in the brioche class if you're interested in that. There's only 30 spaces in that class, so that is that. So if you're interested in it, you can go to the Okanagan Knitting Retreat website online, and you can register and you get all the information, and then register, and then we will see you in May. I have a family trip coming up in April that we are going to a wedding, and it is in Mexico, which is really exciting. So we'll be there for a week. And yeah, so that's some stuff that's coming up for me. I will be going also in June to another knitting event in New Denver, which is comes up in June or July. I'm not quite sure. I will have to get the information on that as well. And so that, I do believe that's it for me for today. And it was great catching up with you. This one's a little bit longer than I usually do. But thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate every minute you have spent with me, and hopefully I will see you next time. Until next time.
May old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind. May old acquaintance be